Today on TQA Weekly, I talk about security and privacy and how privacy is technically going out the window. This episode of TQA Weekly is brought to you by the TQA Weekly store. Great gifts that support the show. My name is Steve Smith, this is TQA Weekly, and of course, if you have any questions, comments, and even show suggestions, you can email me at ask@tqaweekly.com, go to my website, tqaweekly.com, and interact with the community, and use the contact form to email me directly. And of course, if you're watching on a website like YouTube, blip.tv, Vimeo, or anywhere else I post every single week, you can always post down below. Last week, I said I was going to try to talk about I2P, Freenet, and Tor. I have been unsuccessful at getting Freenet and I2P to download. So for the time being, I'm going to give you a thought exercise that hopefully will lead into a civil discussion between all of you and me. And this is the ideology of security and privacy. So obviously we all talk over the internet. It is a fact that most of us will migrate to the place of least resistance and most convenience to communicate with other people. In the case of most of us, we will lead ourselves to the place where 1 out of every 7 people around you will have an account there, this website obviously being Facebook. In this case, like ICQ and MSN before them, we go there because A, the people are there, and B, it is easy to use. Facebook is by no means an unsecure website. For the most part, they usually hold their own. Having so many people on them, it is not astounding that they must have some of the best security over the internet. But are they in fact private? And this is the discussion of today. Most of us will believe that the word security and privacy have at least some delineation with each other, basically meaning the same thing, even though this is technically wrong. You can have a secure website and have everything public, which is one of the leading reasons why most people get into trouble using these kinds of websites when we confuse security and privacy. This is a thought process that you can even communicate to your own family, to your younger ones, explaining to them why there is a difference between both. If we take the program Snapchat for a moment, we all know that this program is designed to secure the communications between the two people. In fact, it was designed so that only the people that are intended to get the message can get the message, and the person sending the message gets to define the amount of time that you get to actually see or read or even watch the message. In this case, there are a few problems with this. A, it is possible to accidentally send to the wrong person a message. And B, it is possible for somebody else to get the message by some other means, i.e. people running the website and also other governments and police forces, because they have a warrant, hopefully. But because that loophole exists, that website and that application is in fact secure, but not technically private. As I said, for it to be private, nobody else should be able to access the content, and in all these cases, they can access the documents and the messages of interest. So, what ends up happening is, what does it actually take to communicate privately? Especially in today's world where you have microphones and cameras everywhere. Well, the idea of privacy, which is a very important one, is actually pretty much going outside the window. Short of burying a hole hundreds of feet into the ground, inside of a hole that has no vibrating walls, because we have the technology to record sound via light of vibration now, short of having that kind of stuff and literally digging yourself so deep that nobody can use a camera to capture the lips moving from a camera from hundreds of kilometers away using satellites, short of doing this, there's not really anything private anymore. I mean, you can live in your house, but microphones on your cell phones and even the cameras can be turned on remotely. Your camera on your computer could be remotely turned on by malicious hackers. The microphones on the computers as well can be susceptible to this. People can actually capture the packets of your wireless networks and include also the traffic from your cell phones. So the idea of privacy is going out the window more and more. So what many people try to do is to recapture the idea of privacy and security by using the darknet to actually communicate with other people, but even this does have a few holes in it. So in the case of navigating the internet and communicating with other clients like Tor, you in fact have to make sure that you are not the only user currently using that service at any given time. If you were the only person in that area using the service, and for some crazy reason they were able to backtrace the communication all the way to the originating point or the destination, they could in fact figure out who you're talking to. So that message may be secure, but you're not having a private conversation anymore. They can in fact figure out who you are talking to. And in those cases, sometimes who you're talking to is much more important than the actual message. So I want to hear what you think about this, and I want you to drop it down below if you're watching on YouTube or on blip.tv or on Vimeo. And for those who don't have an account on any of these places, you can get an account from tqaweekly.com, and you go to tqaweekly.com/se5ep04, and you can actually interact using the comments box on that page, which obviously is moderated, but that's just to make sure that you're all secure. Nothing about that part of that page is in fact private except for who you are. Have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and comment on to why you didn't if you didn't. And